Hey dolls. Hey. What up though? What's everybody doing? So I'm doing something different today. I'm gonna wait for a couple people to get on. Um, I am shooting live and then I'm also, so you're gonna see me pan to two different cameras today, because I'm also shooting for YouTube. Um, I don't know why I cannot go live, and I don't have time to figure it out. I think I just need to get in touch with them and figure out why my account is not set up where I can go live because whatever, it doesn't even matter. So, what you're going to see me doing today, and then obviously for my YouTube viewers, you're going to see me talking to Facebook throughout this vlog. Do you guys love this? Isn't this so cute? Look at the sleeve. Literally, I bought it for the sleeve. Well, and for the shoulder. Forever 21 is going out of business. Some might say yay, or some might say nay. Um, I have mixed emotions. I mean, I don't know why they're going out of business. Honestly, I don't even want to spend a live talking about it. It is what it is. Things happen. So what we're going to do today, a couple things. This is going to be a long live today, guys, as if they usually aren't, Julie. Yeah, they usually are. I always say, oh, this is going to be super quick today, guys, and then it's like an hour later. We're going to do something fun. I'm going to show you guys. I've given my lashes a break. Oh, thank you to our sponsor, which I don't have any lashes on. I have like 4 left, rather. AC Virginia Stylist for our lashes that I'm not wearing right now because you're supposed to let your eyelashes have a break. And so inadvertently I have, because Christmas came and I was like really like, I really need to keep my money for the holidays, for children. Okay? So, YouTube, I'm just going to go ahead and apologize to you in advance because I am so used to shooting on this camera, this one right there, that I have a feeling I might not give you guys as much eye contact, but I'm sure you'll be fine. So what we're going to do today is a little bit of a bouquet, which is really what my show is about. Right, guys? We are going to do today how to put on faux eyelashes. I started wearing fake eyelashes probably, I guess it was 2007. I didn't even know it was like a thing. I didn't even know, like, I don't even think I knew fake eyelashes existed, okay? One day I was taking my daughter, who at the time was like 5, to dance class, and the dance instructor, she was like checking in all the little girls, and like, so she's like got her head down, and like, I just see her freaking lashes, and I'm like, what the heck? Like, how are her lashes so full? Like, I'm like 29 years old and don't have a clue. I'm like, what? How is that? Well, then I asked her. She's like, oh, honey, these are like fake eyelashes. And I'm like, wow, I'm 29 going on 9. So I started wearing them. And I got really good at putting them on. Now, I got really good at putting them on with the little clam thingy that they used to give you to like put them on, because I feel like those help you so much because you can literally do this. Nowadays, they give you this like little one thing, which is like, I guess like the clam, but like in a little extender thing. And to me, I just can't do that. I need the little clam. So Ardell, all you guys that make lashes, like, can you bring back the little clam thing? Like, I don't understand why there hasn't been, maybe there has, why there hasn't been like all the beauty industry being like, what the hell happened to the applicator? Like, they got so lame. So I'm going to be my own clam today. So I'm going to show you guys how to do this, and then we're going to talk about, no, dang it. So we lost the live. We're going to keep going. Okay. That's, well, the battery is supposed to charge. more than 2% when you start shooting a live. So that's what that means, okay? All right, so what we're going to do today, YouTube, ironically, you have all my attention now. Don't feel like that. Everything happens for a reason. All right, so the first thing we're going to do, so let me reposition this a little bit. And normally you just don't throw your lashes on a table. You know, they're in a nice little package. But the first thing you want to do is just kind of brush the 5 lashes that you have. Because yesterday I was doing this in the car and I literally like had glued eyelashes backwards. Like I had like some of my faux ones, which are still there. Then my real ones, like I had one going straight back and then I had that. And that was like a hot mess all day and it kept poking me. And I legit worked like, I think I worked like 11 hours straight yesterday, minus like the half hour. Well, no, it was probably like an hour drive time. So you just want to brush your 4 eyelashes, okay? If you have more than 4, winning. But you want to do that. Then you want to get your little, I'm awful with, no, let me stop saying that. I'm really fantastic with this. So you're just going to get, this is just basically to like give you a little bit of grace. So that if you miss the mark a little bit, or just basically to kind of camouflage the strip, okay? Eventually I'm going to get, eventually I'm going to get the magnetic, the Moxie, I think they're called, or Roxy. But those jinx were like $50 or $60, which I think is a great price point because you just have to buy more. I usually wash mine and they'll last for a while. So it's definitely like not overpriced in any way, shape, or form. I just have my monies going to other things right now. So I'm having to just buy little $10 lashes and stuff like that for now. So normally, like, see, I'm not like a beauty blogger, clearly. It takes me a little bit of time to get that the right way because I have to basically sketch it on, because if I go like hardcore commitment, I mess it up. So I just have to sketch it on. So you're just basically gonna sketch your eyelash on. Sketch your they're my way. Sketch your, and it's really about like find the angle. Like if you like, I'm not left-handed. Some things I feel like obviously this is obvious, but for some people they're like, but I can't. Well, you just have to like twist your arm and like put your like this right there, and this gives you like a nice solid movement. Okay, so if you can't get it done, this is how you do it. So we're still sketching because I can already tell I did a hard mark and it was not the right way. So I'm sketching, shoot. I'm sketching. This is why you want to have Q-tips too, okay, dolls? So I'm sketching, almost done. Gotta fill in some little dots here. Somebody, I don't know who showed me this trick too, but if you get your waterline under here as well, this also makes your lashes look full. We all probably know this by now, but if you don't, you can do this as well. Now, I have to be really careful with my other eye because it's still healing from an injury I had. But I can tell it's progressing, even though I do get some weird days where my eye just looks jacked up. So basically, you do this. I was making sure. I was like, shoot, am I recording? All right, so now you want to get your lash. Oh, I forgot that this was too long, and I needed to cut it. Crap. And I don't know. I'm shooting in my daughter's room because this used to be my room, and we switched rooms. And the lighting right now is just overall better in here. So I'm gonna go going just so when you're cutting, How do people do this? I'm just counting, like, there's a V for every, like, lash. So I'm taking one set out because it really poked me yesterday. Actually, I see a straight hair. Okay, so I'm cutting off a W, I guess, or a V, whatever you want to call, whatever letter you want to give this. Because it wasn't completely too long, it was just a smidge too long. Blow away any fuzzies. And then you're just going to pump a little glue out, okay? Not a lot, just a dot, okay? And you're just basically going to, like, gently let the glue kiss the end of the lash. Not a whole lot. Just enough. You really don't need a lot. Like, you just need it to kind of just brush. I do a little extra dot or so on the ends and in the middle, because those are like anchor points, I feel. And you're just going to, like, get a little tacky, because wet will slide a little bit as soon as you put on. Whereas if it's a little tacky, like a little bit where it's dried a little bit, then it will set a little, it won't slide, is basically what I'm trying to say. So you want to get, the important thing is, like, to get the perfect angle, because what you're trying to do, I gotta back this up a little bit, is get, actually I don't, sorry, because I'm trying to make sure you guys see, you're trying to get it, like, right in the cut of where your lashes will grow. So you do your anchor. I feel it right there. Like, you'll feel it go, like, right into the groove. Okay, and then connect the other anchor. Then, because Ardell and all them took away the daggone clamshell clamps, you just take the edge of your, I mean, I guess we should make sure this is clean, but you just take the edge and then gently press the left anchor. Then with your hand, you can just push this in. You're just pushing gently all the way through. Okay, it's just a gentle push. As you can see, I don't know if you can see that the glue is still wet because it's white. I don't think that's coming through on the video. But you're just pushing it, and you just want to kind of hold it there, like that. Just push it gently. Okay, and there you go. Okay, so we're going to do the side now. Well, actually, I didn't do the middle. Let me push this down a little bit. Ow. You got to be careful with these, because it's not what it's designed for. Ardell took away that, like, as you can see, I have some real feelings about that. I might need therapy. All right. Bring back the clamshell, Ardell. Like, really, please. Because you could just, and it just because of the way it was designed, you could literally just hold it there, count to 7, and da-da. All right, so let's get this lash. We got to cut off the extra V. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to get into our topics, which is, this is the last show of the decade, and we're going to be talking about new truths, what I've learned. Yeah, basically that for the whole year. And maybe we might hit off some of the, I mean, I don't really want to, I don't know if I'm going to go back like the whole decade, because honestly, I didn't even think out, like, to myself the whole last few months, like, oh yeah, this is the end of the decade. You know, I really, to my brain, I was like, yep, that's almost the end of the year. But decades, so I'm hitting these anchors, but it is an end of a decade as well, so whatever. How important that is only how important it is for you. Like, I'm not obsessed about it being a decade. Okay? If you are, cool. All right, so lashes, honestly, like, if you, to me, if like, you know that show Survivor where you're like, I could pick 3 things, it would be baby wipes. I mean, obviously, you can't pick food, right? So if I can't pick food, I'm picking endless baby wipes. Why isn't this thing charging? This is super weird. Endless baby wipes. And lashes. Maybe the eyeliner too. But if I have to pick between eyeliner, I'm picking lashes. Oh wait, I don't want this to dry. Okay, so you're gonna gently hold this. You're anchoring it to your outer corner first. Oh shoot, I let this go. So hopefully that wasn't a total mess up. And then you have to, like, if you have a, like, I have a good sized nose, so it's literally in the way. So I have to, like, basically, like, do this move to try to get this corner. And this is not anchored. Hard to. So just push this down. I can see like a stray lash. So I'm just anchoring it. This one is not anchored, like I can already see it. Always carry your lash glue with you because a windy day, whatever, your little anchors can come undone. It's just part of wearing falsies. Now, here's what I will say about this. Now, like I said, I started wearing lashes 10 years ago, and this definitely is not charging because the percentage is dropping. I started wearing lashes, like I said, 2007, something like that. And I literally wore them every single day. I would sleep in them. And the next thing I know, that my eyelashes started falling out because I believe the glue maybe clogs the hair follicle. I literally don't know. What I would say is, for me, I'm like, what has worked for me are lash extensions. They've actually helped my lashes grow. The person I go to is a cosmetologist. She is like trained in hair and just really knows what she's doing. She takes her time. It takes like 2.5 hours for her to put them on. Like, she is literally so good. So they've helped my eyelashes grow because, like, I was born with 5, okay? And so now I have 15. But yeah. All right, so let me look at this plug to find out why it is not holding the charge. Because this is concerning me. Because it's plugged in. Is it not? Oops. Let me just plug it into the wall. Oh, maybe this. Let's see, did that do it? What? So it's like my extension cord knew that, hey, you're plugging another extension cord in here. And that's why my live feed died, I guess. I'm so confused. I really don't know. So if this comes, maybe I'll, whatever. Let me just stay focused. Okay, so let's talk about, whoa. All right, so we're going to talk about what I've learned, okay? This is the last part of, should I wear lipstick? Is that going to be too much? I mean, it is New Year's. Do I want to wear this color? Let me think. Or do I want to wear this? I think I'll wear this. We'll go ahead and do a lip. I always just make a little stamp of my Cupid's bow first. Sometimes I do it too much. Like, to me, this was, whatever, who cares? Okay. This is Outlaw by Kat Von B. I love her lipsticks. This is a matte. Your lips feel like you have nothing on. Like, SOLEY. Now, a little trick I do. I know I started talking about the show and then I'm back and doing this. So you put your lipstick on, right? I don't have like a thing, the pencil. So you go like this, right? You go a little bit above that stamp. All right, now, and then, oh shoot. You don't want to do that. So, watch this. So then you go, hold on, I messed this up. Gosh darn. All right, hopefully I can fix it now. I accidentally curved. So, you take your self and go like this. Nope, that didn't. That was a fail. Because, yeah, that was a fail. But we can fix this. Let me show you how to fix your fails. You just take your lipstick. Okay. Alright. So, and if you really fail, you just wipe it all out and start over. Alright, let's get to the show. Alright, so some truths that I have learned. This time last year, I guess we should do a quick backstory. I had a major financial catastrophe happen to me in July of 2018. I lost 1/3 of my income by losing my alimony from my separation agreement. Okay, like after a certain amount of years, ladies, if you didn't know this, I had no clue. Literally had no clue. That has a time limit on it. Or spousal support. I don't think it was alimony, it was spousal support. And my innocent / ignorant ass had asked for an increase because I was going to have major financial things coming up, and not only did I not get the increase, I got a huge decrease. So this time last year, I was working at 3 different places. One of them was Topgolf. So the venue closes like at 2 on any given night, so I was working there. I have a cleaning business, so I was working there during the day. I even had started lifting, so I would work there like in between cities because I literally would be going to Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Norfolk all the time. So I was already a hustler, you guys. Like, literally. A go-getter, that's me. So, this time last year, I was working 18 plus hours a day. Just barely scraping by rent and other bills. Even some of my bills I couldn't even pay. Like I had to get my dad to take over one of my car payments, the car that my daughter was driving. So it was, to say it was stressful, that's truly an understatement. I mean, it was so challenging that I literally had to send text messages to family members to be like, hey guys, if you have any extra food around, like canned goods, or anybody feels the need that they could, drop me an Aldi card or something like that, we're here. Like, it was like that. I'm just trying to keep it real with you guys. And thankfully, family members came through and really helped us get through the summer, all the way up until just a couple months ago. So that was hard going into the new year with just struggle. I was definitely in a survival struggle mindset this time last year. Something had happened. I'm always listening to, when I work, I'm always listening to either Pandora, but I had started listening more to YouTubers like Infinite Waters, Ralph Smart. Was mainly like the first person that I really would just, instead of listening to Pandora, I would just listen to all his shows, or his vlogs, whatever. And then, you know, the algorithms would just send you to other people that were similar. So between him and Elizabeth DiAlto and listening to the audio book of, what is that lady that wrote Eat, Pray, Love? She also wrote another book. I've listened to, let me pull up my thing, so because I want to give credit where credit's due. I really feel like that's hugely important. Pretty much everybody that's helped me, I've put it into like a playlist on my YouTube. So it was Elizabeth DiAlto, Aaron Doughty, LEEORA Alexandra, Man of Letters, let me give him, he's new. Soul Rebel Nation. This is shout outs time. So I'm just in here now, I might as well. And this, I have a lot of things that I got to listen to ASMR. I'm not going to list all those. Just really going to talk about people that like are like life coach type people or spiritual guides. There was one key person, which is why I'm still looking in here. Oh, of course, Dolores Cannon, which I learned about her from Aaron. But where is he? Because this is a doctor. And his, oh, here it is. Why doesn't it have his name? Oh, Dr. Gabor Mate. And maybe that's not like the, Gabor might be how he says his name, because I know he corrects somebody. But it's When the Body Says No. Now, this video is 3 hours long. And a lot of my cleaning jobs, like the average cleaning job is like 5 hours easily. So I listened. Oh, I forgot to give that other lady her shout out. Sorry, guys. I don't want to forget her because she was really, her book also was, oh my gosh, it's not in here. Shoot. It's probably in my liked playlist, so I'm just going to go way down here because I'm sure it's here. But anyways, it's When the Body Says No, and it's talking about how different traumas, hold up, totally forgot, SheRaSeven1. Oh my goodness. Enough cannot be said about, I've only been watching her videos now, I think it's been 2 months, 2.5 at the most. What is this? I think her name's Elizabeth something. Basically, it's the lady who wrote Eat, Pray, Love, and then she has this other book, and it's about ideas, okay? And what happens and how ideas, how the universe drops the same idea to different people. I'll have to tag her because I'm just going to get lost. But yeah, it's how the universe drops different ideas to different people. It's like planting seeds in different soils to see, hey, where's this going to manifest the most? Where's it going to grow? That ideas are actual tangible beings, but you can't see them. Or maybe some people can, but you can't see them, but they're very tangible, they're very real. And so with switching gears back to Dr. Gabor Mate or Dr. G, it's about how your childhood trauma and also your parents' trauma and your grandparents' trauma can be in your body, and how different diseases and aches and ailments likely are, with the exception of actually being like injured, obviously, like breaking your knee, falling down or something, but like basically just ailments where you're just like, oh, I'm always so sore, I'm always achy, or actual cancer and things like that. They come from not just like the food you eat, blah blah blah. It's like, yes, the food you eat, but if you mix it with trauma that is lodged in your body still, that is the, okay, now you have cancer from eating this particular food or being in this environment. And listening to that video, I think I've listened to it easily 4 times, because sometimes when you're listening to something that is that long, or just me, I end up just like losing focus. I'm always constantly like going back and having to listen to things over and over. But knowing that, first of all, that I even had childhood trauma. It's like I knew I had childhood trauma. Like my parents got separated / divorced when I was 12. Clearly, I understand that that's traumatic. Um, I was molested when I was 6 or 7 years old. Um, we were moving all the time. I think last count, I went to like 14 schools for just kindergarten through 12th grade. Either 14 or 12 schools, I can't remember. Um, a lot, okay? We moved from East Coast to West Coast, West Coast to East Coast, back to the East Coast. My first move, I was 9 months old. I mean, obviously I don't remember that, but my whole entire family, like every cousin, everybody is in California, and most of my life was grown up here on the West Coast, so there's also a huge disconnect with family, mixed with the disconnect with friends, because always having to move. So me not understanding that these are actually forms of trauma, smaller ones versus like bigger ones, like actually being molested and things like that. Not only did I have my own trauma, but I had the trauma of my parents, because what is unfinished business with your parents ultimately gets passed on to you to figure out. Because what I believe is that we're here for evolution of, I guess, the human experience. Like some people call it like Earth School, and that totally resonates with me 100. This is a school. This is a game of sorts, a dream. There's all these different things that it is. And I feel purposeful, like every generation is going to be better than the last, even though some people are like, oh, things are so much better, back then. And it's like, nothing was ever better back then in our recent memories. Maybe like, Atlantis or a million years ago, like before, different things happened with like other beings, and, I'm going to like I don't know the correct words, but like the hermetic, where like the gods, mated with like the humans, and of course things transitioned, and I'm still learning all that, so can I speak on it and sound like I know what I'm talking about? Not really, because I'm literally still like eating this up. But what is truly something that I can say that is absolutely truth, is that yes, if you have things that are going on in your life and you don't address them, either you're in denial, so you don't even know that it's a thing, or you just don't want to deal with it, you ultimately pass that on to your children in subconscious forms of how they see you handle things. So they emulate those behaviors, or it's just innate. It's in them, and it's in their DNA. It's in their code, and it just truly is. I think I've even thought about, like, when you think about when two people procreate, it's almost like a barcode or timestamp of, this is what's going on with that person and that person at this time. Anger, fear, love, worries, hopes, dreams, whatever it is, concoction that you have going on with you and they have going on with them, when it comes together to create that being, that those are in your codes, no matter what. So you'll have to deal with those things some way, somehow. And it's true. I've seen it in my children. I have children. My 2 children are 10 years apart, and I can definitely be like, wow, that's so me at, 15, 16 years old. And, oh, that's so me at 25, 26, like I see it. So I know that it's a relevant truth. Of course, environment plays into all that. And I don't mean environment like pollution. I mean like your environment overall. So understanding that, yes, I had trauma. My father and mother had trauma. Their religious, strict, mother side at least, upbringing influenced her parenting to such an extreme degree that it was very suffocating as a child to grow up in the household that we did. And then in regards to my father, I know where, as parenting things, I know his father was so angry and controlling, and he was just like that typical macho dad from, the 50s that was just so rough around the edges. His children were just, about accomplishments. Like, how are they going to make me look good? And the thing is that I literally have very limited memories of my grandparents. But the thing is that when you tap into your subconscious and you tap into a certain frequency within yourself, which I've recently been here throughout this whole year, I can say that I'm there now. I literally can feel and see things that there's no way that I would ever know because I wasn't my mom or my dad. I was me. So, but I know actual childhood experiences that they've experienced because I've experienced ultimately because I was in there somewhere. Do you understand? I think this is where past lives come into things too, because people have, especially religious Christian people, have such a big deal with past lives, past lives. No, you only get one. But it's when you look at how DNA travels, I have been everywhere that my DNA has been. And I really do believe that DNA has a subconscious memory that's taken from one person to another, to another, to another, to another. So when you understand that as a truth, and for me it is absolutely a truth, and it has made so much sense for things for me, oh my God, I get this is why my dad is this way. Oh, I understand this is why my mom is this way. When you understand that what I would call parenting fails, or well, why isn't my mom like a normal mom? And why isn't my dad like a normal dad? Okay. And I don't, normal just being what we all think it means in our heads, what normal is. It might be different for you. It's different for me, I'm sure. But it just, when I was comparing my girlfriend's mom's relationships and seeing dads, I just definitely feel like mine were missing the mark somewhere. And parenting is hard. I have missed the mark so many times with my children. But you can only speak about your own childhood and what you feel like your parents missed the mark. My children may make videos about me and be like, yeah, my mom missed the mark. It's just, that's what life is about, is, okay, I missed the mark, but I'm going to try to fix it for my children so that they can have more to fix for their children and they can have more to fix for their children. Does that make sense? I think my eye's getting red. It is. This is what I'm talking about. My eye does get so jacked up. Like this one, and then this one's fine. But, this eyelashes bother me. But anyways, so yes, trauma is carried on from parent to child, child to child, to child, to child. So fix your crap, people. Literally, that's what this means. If you have something going on, if you're not going to go to therapy, or try to figure out, I didn't really go to therapy. I got on YouTube and really just went down the rabbit hole with spiritual guides and enlightenment and educating myself. I couldn't help it. I literally listened to different TED Talks and lectures and messages for 8+ hours a day. So I literally, for the last 365+ days, have truly spent hours upon hours trying to understand me. And in understanding the trauma and then being able to have really compartmentalize like the pain and the hurt or what I was missing from my mom or my dad or maybe my brother or somebody that was very close to me, maybe my husband, some of these things, or ex-husband rather, now the pain, it doesn't hurt. I don't cry about it anymore. I mean, I literally remember crying just a little over a year ago about just being like, I just want this, or how come this person's not like this with me, like blah, 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 and now it's just like, I get it. I understand. Even some things where are so hard, where I'm like, I totally get why my mom left at 12. I totally get how my mom checked out. I totally, like, it makes sense to me. It doesn't hurt. I almost, like, have been like, cool, lady, you did it. You did your thing. Even though it caused me pain initially, I can now look back and be like, yes, I see why it had to happen, and I understand what it did for me in my life's purpose. So, that's definitely one thing that I've learned, and I don't even think I made a note for that here, but obviously it needed to be said. So I'm going to try to do this in order here. New truths that I've learned. Elizabeth DiALTO always starts her show with, what is a new truth that you are learning, or something like that. And I like that, because what I was married to in thought, in mindset, in theory, if you're an evolving person, which hopefully you are, hopefully you don't think exactly the same way you did as 10 years ago. If you do, morally, spiritually, ethically, if you haven't been challenged to at least reposition yourself by 1 or 2 degrees in another direction, then I would suggest that you allow yourself, because you're not doing anything here. You're literally staying the same. And that's not what life is for. Life is about evolving and challenging yourself. It is shown through the earth, nature, and everything. So get with the program, hun. But a new truth for me, and this I have to give praise where praise is due. SheRaSeven1. This is going to be a segment right now, I just have to say, oh my God, she was life-changing for me. Truly. It must have been like around October. Oh, this is why I don't like wearing false ones, and I like lash extensions, because this is literally poking me and it's so irritating. Sometimes I'll just pick that edge up and I don't feel it, and I don't care if people see that it's hanging off their false eyelashes. Okay, but SheRaSeven1. First of all, let me be honest and say that when I was listening, I was working, had my AirPods in, gloves on, I was cleaning the bathroom. So I'm listening to probably Ralph or somebody, and next thing you know, she comes on. And she is talking about gold digging. And I'm just like, how the heck did I get this in my algorithms? Like, I'm not a gold digger. I am against gold diggers. Like, I freaking detest gold diggers. So why is this broad up in my mix here? And I couldn't change her, because that would mean taking my gloves off, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like in a rhythm. I need to keep going. So I'm stuck listening to her, basically. And I'm just listening to her like, oh my God. Like, I literally can't believe that there's like an actual thing here where like gold diggers come on here and talk about gold digging and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, wow, well, it's YouTube. I guess, you're going to have this happen. So, I'm listening to her and just rolling my eyes and cleaning. And then somewhere, like around probably 20 minutes in, I remember being like, yeah, that's so true. Absolutely. And I'm like, what's happening? Like, why am I even agreeing with this broad? Like, clearly she's a gold digger, so I wouldn't even probably agree with the time of day it is on her watch, like, why. And as I was listening to her more and more and more, and I'm like, she legit makes a lot of sense. And I listened to her for the next 8 hours. And then I've listened to her every day for 8 hours. Every day for 8 hours. Bad day, maybe 6. And what you have to understand, first of all, if you haven't heard of her, I'm going to probably link her below, of course. The way that many of us have been raised, if you're a 70s, 80s, 90s kid, was be a good girl. You need to do things for your man. The further back, the more this is in your head. The further along you are, like in the maybe late 80s, 90s, this might not be as much. And it really also depends on what your household was. I just remember, I think what because obviously it wasn't like this for my parents, but I just remember thinking, oh, I just want to be like my grandmother who just served my grandpa, had his dinner ready. She just was so, submissive, and this, that, and the other. Like that was just something that I watched The House on the Prairie, all these little things that I also watched Wonder Woman. So, I was also like, I'm going to be Wonder Woman. But also like cook my husband's meals and do all these things. And I think when you understand like how impressionable we are by like television and then of course our parents' relationship, and if there's nobody interjecting like, hey, well, this is in theory, but this is not anything that's going to actually occur on a regular basis in real life, people grow up with thinking like, well, I have to, go to work, but also be super mom and also be super friend and super sister and super neighbor. Hold on, I gotta turn off this, this timer. 1 second, guys. So you have to be this like super person. And it's just like, you think you have to be everything to everybody, and you're definitely not even on the list. If you're brought up in a Christian, at least for me, it's all about do for your neighbor, do for your neighbor, do for your neighbor, self-sacrifice. And so definitely when it comes to like a romantic or a marriage type of thing, the husband was like, you have a husband, and just, you just grow up thinking that you're just a girl and you just be happy and, it's all on your shoulders to make it work. And having it also has to do with what kind of father you have. My dad was, because I think of his father being so gruff and, over masculine, my father is more art type of person, and not like, he's not that kind of guy. Probably because he rejected his father, so he didn't want to be that way. And there's a lot of things that, because my dad wasn't this masculine, heterosexual guy, I mean, my dad is heterosexual, so let me clarify that. But he's just more, like I said, movies, art, sci-fi, chill, non-confrontational, argumentative, but not confrontational. I became a more masculine type person, and then like very strong, you know what I mean? Also being a teen mom and having to do things by myself. I was the little lady of the house when my mom left, so like I would cook dinner and things like that, at like 12 years old. And was allowed to be that role because of the way that my father was. And again, you know, it is what it is. I'm not complaining. I'm healed over these things, but I definitely shouldn't have been allowed to take on that role. But I get how it happened. It's probably a Hispanic thing, and it's like, duh, of course, you're the new woman of the house. You know what I'm saying? Um, but because of your environment and because of the things that you, in theory, marry into your head as, oh, ideal, this is how it is, you can grow up and establish patterns that you end up doing, and it becomes a cycle. So it starts as a pattern, or a choice, rather, and then you do it, and then you do it again, and then next thing you know, it's a cycle. So if you're in a cycle and you don't realize you're in a cycle, you'll be going through relationships like, I can't believe this is happening again. Why does this always happen to me? Blah, blah, blah. It's like if you're in that, that's what's happening. So you have to have something in your mind shift you to understand, like, oh, I'm doing it wrong. It would be the same as like trying to bake cookies, and you're using like dry ingredients. Like you see like, oh, okay, yeah, they're making stuff. Like it's like you're watching them, because when you aren't taught this is what a relationship is, or there's no interjection of like, oh, well, I know what you're watching on TV, but blah, 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 blah. So when you don't have anybody really guiding you as a child, it's like watching somebody that actually has professional training, okay, like a chef cooking, and you're like, oh yeah, that's that fluffy stuff. Okay, let me grab it. So they're grabbing flour, you're grabbing breadcrumbs. They're grabbing sugar, you're grabbing salt. You know, and you go and they're like, well, how did they get a cake? And I have this like weird, nasty thing, you know. It's literally when you self-teach yourself relationships, that's exactly the same thing. Like you think and you look and you could swear to God you're doing the same thing that your best friend is doing. And how is it that they're, you know, that everything looks like it's working for them, or you actually know it's working for them because you've experienced their relationship personally. So it's like, yeah, of course they have normal things that go on, but like, what, you know, so this is what's happened to a lot of us kids from the 80s and 90s, because our mothers were taught to reject being a mom, being a woman, just go out there and fight and get in the workplace and earn money, which again is all purposeful. That all has to happen for a reason, because we needed that shift to happen for women, so that women who did not want to do these have the choices to do these other things. But what happened in that is that a lot of children just really got lost in the sauce, and had to raise themselves. Forget about it if you came from divorce and things like that. It gets really, really bad. Or it got really, really bad. But, you know, fast forward now, everything's fine. I get it all. But watching SheRaSeven1 and listening to her, and her talking about how a man is supposed to be a provider, that you really need to be with somebody, and she teaches you how to find the right people, targets as she calls them, and that you shouldn't fall in love. And to me, like, this just in my core was like, what? What do you mean? Like, love is everything. Like, love is like, isn't that what we're all here for, is to like fall in love? Like The Notebook. I mean, there's all these movies that I watch where I'm like, oh, that's, you know, and it's just like, you're trying to tell me that that's not what life is about. And the thing is that the more I allowed myself to, even though I was rejecting her, I still allowed myself to listen to her instead of just throwing the whole thing away and being like, oh, this lady's crazy, I'm not listening to anything that she has to say. I allowed myself to at least listen. And in listening to her, I realized that everything that she was saying, I did the opposite of, and I have everything to show for it. Like, yeah, she's actually right. I can't tell you how many times I thought I was with the love of my life. You know, I'm probably got a good 7, or 5 to 7, like oh, this is it, this is the one, or doing it for love, like, oh, I'm just gonna he's got so much potential, or oh, well, maybe if I just love him harder, or like his ex-girlfriend was so awful, or ex-wife was just, so all these things about love, 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 love. Literally, I have zero, except for beautiful children, zero to show for it. Not only do I have zero to show for it, I have negative things to actually show for it. So understanding that the way things, that how we do them in America, or how they've been done, is wrong for me. Okay, I can't speak for you, but I definitely don't want to struggle or try to wear the pants in my family. Now, I think definitely 10 years ago, I'd be like, yeah, I'm strong, I can do this, I don't need you, blah, blah, blah. I got this, like, you can't do anything. Yeah, I have the wrong attitude. It came from because survival, and that's what I learned, and that's how I had to be. But once, and because I saw the lack in the partners that I was with, that I just like, well, I'm going to have to do this myself, and I'll figure it out. So of course I had resentment with them. But had I been watching her while I was, especially in my marriage, I would have definitely learned how to reposition myself into a way to at least survive in a better way. For myself, at least, and for my children. Would that marriage be something that is still here today? I don't know, but I know it wouldn't have went down the way it went down had I been educated and understanding how things work between men and women. We are different. It is the way that it is. Sometimes it's not just a black and white thing. It's not just, oh, you have a penis, you have a vagina, so you're this way and you're this way. No. And we all know that through just how genetics works, how gender works, how sexuality works. It's not black and white. It's not straight and gay. There's gray areas. There's gray areas in everything. But when you're talking about a masculine energy and a feminine energy, there are actual truths when you're like so far to this way and so far to that way. And so she's definitely helped me understand that you're better off coupling for stability, coupling for provisions, because if you are a feminine energied person, so this could be male or female, whatever you identify, I definitely identify as a feminine energy. My insides, soul, everything craves masculine energy. Now, I'm not talking about like how my grandpa was, where it's like that kind of thing, okay? But definitely leans to the masculine, is a provider, for sure. But I think I could probably say that in my relationships, I've probably only had one whole provider as far as money, okay? And it's not just money, but it's mostly that. Because the other thing she teaches you is that so many of us are taught to like, oh, well, he's going to be your best friend and blah, 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 blah. Like, we're expecting a man to have this masculine energy to be a provider, but then also go full the other way into his feminine energy and be our best friend and like cry with us. And I feel like I don't know how they can do that long term. What she teaches you is to, you need your girlfriends, or friends rather, really pour into your children or your animal companions, your pets, but you cannot be looking for all that and wanting all that from your spouse. Because when you fall in love, you fall. Falling is never good when you think about it. unless you're talking about love. So why? Why is that? Why if I fall down, that's actually gonna hurt me in some way? But when we say, oh, I'm falling in love with you, I think that because the way when we say that, we actually realize that, yeah, you fell. Instead, if you position yourself to only have suitors that when the love blows away, when the lust isn't there anymore, because it happens. Think about an ex before they were your ex and how you were just like, oh my God, yes, oh my God, like, I can't get enough of you, I just want to kiss you, hold you, sit next to you, smell you, blah, blah, blah. But then when life happened, when the honeymoon period wore off, you're just like, ugh, could somebody else just do something with him? Because, like, ugh. It happens. It literally does. So the best thing to do for yourself as a feminine energy is to find somebody that is going to provide. It's called hypergamy. It's coupling up, marrying up, courtshipping up. It's been going on for gazillions of years. There's nothing wrong with it. Men do it too. How do men do it? Generally, it's not like in the way that women do it, where it's like money and stability. What they do is they do it through looks and vibrancy. So when they start getting older and this and the other, they do it in a, oh, well, I need younger, better, younger, better, younger, better. So it is really natural. So it's just, I'm not going to fight nature anymore, basically. Like, literally, if I even date, which I am not completely interested in doing that because I'm such on a self-discovery mode and totally fine with myself. I've been single for 2.5 years, have had a couple of dates, nothing serious, nothing even lasting like a week, just like kind of like feeling it out and being like, I don't know. Nope, don't want to. Thank you. I tried. I'm too happy with myself. I'm not in the mind frame to cut out time for somebody. It almost feels more painful than pleasurable to be like, oh, okay, so I'm supposed to see you or hang out with you. Like, it's just like, oh, don't really want to. You know, like, that's where I am. So, obviously, I'm probably not a great candidate for being in a relationship, and or the candidates have not been, and I can definitely say they have not been the providers. I've had one that wanted to be a provider, and it was so close, almost all there, but there was just a huge lack in their emotions and in their way that they went about life. So it would have ultimately been a threat to everything that we would have been building, and it showed to be that way. But super good guy ultimately, but just nothing that would be a foundational piece. So all I can tell you is that SheRaSeven1 opened me up to the truth that love, romantic love for sure, is not enough. It's not a reason to embark and make a relationship with somebody, and it's not a reason to stay. Oh, well, I love him, but meanwhile they're, a jerk, or they don't acknowledge your needs, okay? And there's 100 other reasons, but love will not ever be a reason why I pursue a relationship. I will pursue a relationship in which way that I will pursue anything that is structural. Like if I was going to buy a home, I wouldn't walk into a home and fall in love with the aesthetics of a house, like the decorations, okay? And be like, oh, but look at the crown molding. Oh, but look at the drapes. Oh my God, this is my favorite furniture. But meanwhile, the skeletons and the bones in the house are rotted. The foundation is cracked. The slab, half of it's like in the dirt. There's termites. Well, but I love these decorations, and this is like a cute Cape Cod that I've always wanted in Ghent. Yeah. That is falling in love right there. You're seeing the things that are like, ah, but you're not seeing the things that, well, yeah, all that can be switched out. Literally, somebody, a team can come in here, take all those decorations, and what are you left with? Exactly, nothing. So never, ever, ever will fall in love with somebody. What could happen, what will happen is that I will meet a provider, somebody in which will be providing for me, and will be earning my adoration. And if anything, I will grow to love that person. And that is when SheRaSeven has said that, it's like, that is so true, because it's like, do you know how much of a turn on it would be to have a person in my life that was like, what do you need? What can I do to ease your mind, to ease your stress? How much do you need for you to just turn your brain off and relax for a little bit? Like, what can I do for you? If you want to see panties come off, that's how, okay? Like literally, consistently. I mean, that right there, to not have to struggle, to have somebody that's like literally your foundation so that you can make it. And it's not like your foundation so that, for me anyways, I'm like, yeah, I'm just trying to just lay here and like watch Netflix all day. Like, I built a business for 18 years. I have other projects that I do. You know, I'm a content creator. I do music. I have children. You know, there should be some ease so that I can just shut it down for a minute and actually just concentrate on going to the grocery store or doing something like that, versus like, oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. You know, like, I'm always thinking of my next move, probably the next 5 moves. So, and that's because I'm a single mother, and I'm self-employed. But if I had a partner who understood that and was like, look, for example, like IRL, you know, I have, well, at least the last few weeks, I've worked 6 days with clients. Well, no, that's not actually true because we had the holidays. But even so, like, sometimes I'll have to take a Saturday client because I'm like, dang, I really need the money, so I'm going to have to do it. But if I had a partner, a provider partner, which I will have, that would be like, how much are you going to make on that job? Here's double that. Here's triple that. And here's some money. Go shopping. Just go relax. Buy some candles. I'll be back later on. I'm going to work. Or I'm going golfing. You know, I'll see you tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of him. So yeah. So, okay, so yeah, I've literally gone on a tangent, but that is how much she has meant. And so she has taught me. I have watched the game because I would be like, well, I'm a good girl and I'm blah, blah, blah. And, oh, I'm so sweet and I'm so nice and I'm so honest and I'm so truthful and I'm so blah, 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 blah. And it's got me literally nowhere. Literally nowhere. Like, all my goodness and all my sweetness and all my innocence has literally got me nowhere. So she will teach you how to rewire yourself to know that you're doing it all wrong. And when I applied her theories and her practices into real life dating, even though I'm not dating this person anymore, let me tell you what, I was taken out to dinner. I did not have sex with this person. I made sure that I didn't spill out my whole story to try to prove that I'm such a candidate for this person. No, I didn't do all that. You have to realize that dating is basically like playing spades. Like, you should never, feminine energy, show your hand. Ever. Literally. Never show your hand. And what I would do as a, what she calls a pygmisha, is be like, well, see, I have the big joker, and I have this, and look at all my qualities, blah, 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 blah. Game over. Everybody knows what I just showed everybody what my hand was. We can't even play anymore. So it's not about being honest or lying or any of that. It's like, it's a game, so how can you play if everybody knows? And if you don't think life is a game, if you don't think that men are into games, last time I checked, the NFL, the NBA, the NHL, golf, tennis, all that is mostly men. It was created by and for men. Yes, now we have women leagues, but men are into games. They're so into games, they actually make up fake teams to play games with other men, with their fake teams, for fake rosters and fake points and fake, oh, look what I got. That's how much men are into games, okay? It is the way that many masculine energied males are like, okay? I can't tell you anything but the truth. Just look at it for yourself. So that is one thing for sure that I did not know that about myself this time last year. I would have told you love wins, love conquers all, love is the ah. No. What is the ah? Is providership. Period. All right. Another truth, moving on, SheRaSeven1. I'm going to sprinkle you just as soon as I can, honey. All right? I'm a goddess with infinite possibilities and powers. I was raised to reject the word witch. I was raised to believe that that was evil. I was raised to believe that Jesus was against that. I was raised all that when it came to somebody being a witch or magic or things like that. Now, I would say for sure that over the last couple of years that I've been more open-minded to understanding that magic could just be like prayers being answered. Like if I believe hard enough, or I pray hard enough, or I'm good enough, you know, my prayers will come true. So my mind started to go a couple years ago into just understanding like, well, first of all, words can change. Words don't mean exactly what you think they mean, or what we've told ourselves that this word means this. In another country, that doesn't mean that. In the same country, that doesn't mean that. In the same household, that doesn't mean that. So words aren't exactly, again, black and white. There's a lot of gray. So I, this year, more than any year ever, and what is a shocking truth to me, understands that, first of all, being a witch, what people classified as a witch hundreds of years ago, is truly just the modern day woman right now, and man for that case, which means that you understand your own truths, you understand your powers, you drink tea, make your own medicines, believe in a higher power, understand the universe is the source of many things, which was created by the source. So it's not like against God or anything like that. I'm just going to leave this light off. So once you take the negative connotation away and realize that literally there were just women that were trailblazers in medicine, trailblazers in cooking, trailblazers in maybe even like appearance or just anything. They got labeled as a witch because religious people took the Bible and didn't understand that the Bible speaks very much in metaphors. Definitely it's coded. The Bible was the last holy book of about 7, and it's a version of the preceding ones before it, intentionally, not just like scandalously, intentionally, because things have to be recoded for the new generations. So the Bible just being one of those things. So yeah, witchcraft to me just equates to progressive, forward-thinking man or woman, because that's really what people were being burned alive for, was things that we do literally every day. Now you want to go and be like, oh, but what about casting spells and putting hexes on people? We do that all the time. What do you think when we say, F you, man? What do you think that is? You don't think you're hexing somebody? You don't think you're sending bad energy their way? It's the same thing. It literally is the same thing. And when you stand back and think about these things in a logical, non-emotional way, everything becomes so crystal clear. And it's not just thinking in a logical way, it's definitely separating yourself from lower vibrational things like control, fear, hate, that make you vibrate and your frequencies are higher, so you're capable of tuning in to things that you weren't able to tune in completely before. I know none of us listens to the radio for the most part. We're all listening to Pandora, Spotify, all that kind of stuff, YouTube. But if you were to get in a old, not even a new car can really do this, I don't think, unless you maybe go to the tuner. If you go to the tuner of your radio in your car, and you, like, for us, I think like one of the stations would be 100.5, okay? If you went to 100.4 or 3, you're going to hear and you're kind of going to hear that song, but not really, but you're like hearing it. So when you start to transition from lower frequencies to higher ones, you go from 100.3 to 100.5, you're like, oh my God, I clearly hear this song. I can hear the words, I can hear the rhythm, I can dance to it, I can, everything, mood is enhanced, all of that. And that's what happens when you raise your vibrations. And you raise your vibrations through leveling up, through not being closed-minded, not being judgmental, not harboring anger, not harboring definitely victim mentality, which I used to be a poster child for that. Oh, poor, well, if this person wouldn't have done this to me, then I wouldn't have this going on in my life, or I wouldn't have done that to that person. Like, I'm only reacting to their, aggressive or their lies or whatever. When you get out of victim mentality, just that alone will raise your vibrations, will raise your frequency, so that you can, it literally starts happening. This thing's sticking to me. It literally happens just like that. All it takes is one small shift in the way that you self-identify to raise your frequency, and then it's just a whole world of like, oh my gosh, I literally have been doing this wrong the whole way. Everything I thought, everything I learned, were there pockets of truth in there? Sure. But were there loads of untruths in there? Yes. And so I no longer am against the word witch. I'm no longer against the word altar. Again, these are, which is so funny, like this is something from church, like go to the altar, blah, blah, blah. But yet if you have an altar at home, oh, are you a witch? Do you believe in witchcraft? I don't know. Do you, when you go to the altar at your church? It's the same thing, literally. The same holiness, the same reverence. We're praying to the same creator or manifesting or all that to the same creator. You just think you know what that creator looks like and that what gender they are. You think your religion thinks they have it all figured out. So again, you have to be in a place to, at least out of curiosity and or annoyance, to be like, what is this broad talking about? To be like, well, why don't you explore it for yourself? Because that's what I had to do. And that actually started for me like 18 years ago, questioning the religious crap that I was taught. I was taught to hate, but we said that, oh, well, we love you. We just don't love your sin. Okay? Like, literally. So when you start questioning, which everyone has to question what they were taught, only a few of us are probably raised in actual places that teach like grace and teach compassion and teach different strokes for different folks. Okay, like it's more common now, but definitely wasn't taught like back in the 80s. Okay, it just wasn't. Very rare. I learned that my last name literally means keeper, goddess of the sun and moon. So that, when I just literally found that out like last week or the week before, because I knew Ra and Ma mean sun and moon, but like I literally looked at the beginning of my name and I'm like literally broke it down and tried to decode it, and I'm like, wow, this makes so many things made sense this year. The struggles that I went through and the turmoil, when I say I mean me and my youngest daughter and even my oldest daughter, went through in 2018. In 2019, it was like, okay, so now I'm going to show you why this happened from 2018. I'm still going to have to show you more struggles too, so that you'll stop mind effing yourself and move forward, because you're stuck still with these false hopes, and we're going to have to deprogram you, and it is going to be painful, and you're going to wonder what is happening. But you're getting deprogrammed, you're waking up, and that's truly what happened this year for sure. Like layers and layers and layers of deprogramming had to happen for me. Like I told you, this time last year, I was definitely in a survival mode, in a lack mode. Now I sit here where every time I go to my bank account, I always have the money to handle the bill. Sometimes it is literally down to like the couple dollars, like, okay, well, I've got it for this. You know, it has come to that. But it's literally always there. Almost like how a bird every day, like, okay, I mean, I know squirrels like store food. Maybe birds do too. But it's like, sometimes I can honestly be like, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do this. I need this money by Friday or whatever. And I literally am like, well, don't know where it's going to come from. But literally, it's there. one thing that I had to do is get out of a lack mode. And I don't exactly remember when this timeline happened, but it was like I always was telling my daughter, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. We can't do this. I'm sorry, we can't. I don't have the money. I need to have it ready. So it was always, I don't. And what we have to understand is that when we're constantly saying, because our words have power, and this is something I was taught actually through my Christianity, your words have power, your words have power. That is what spelling is. Understand, spelling is taught in school, okay? But they don't say what it is. They're like, oh, well, it's just putting the letters together to form a word. But what it really is putting the words together to form your actuality, your reality. Because ultimately it's for good. And so these things do have to be taught at a young age so that at least the robotics or mechanics are there, rather, and then everything else can be placed together when it is that they do. But your words have power. Not just power, it's a frequency, is what I'm trying to say. Your words have a frequency. Your mindset has a frequency. So when I say, I don't have this, I don't have this, I don't have this, you're literally telling the universe, I don't have it. I don't have it. And if you understand, which I'm still learning, what is the words? It's going to come to me in a minute. Quantum physics. Sorry, like that literally is like, I'm going to pull it out somewhere. We understand quantum physics, which I'm starting to learn it. Do I fully understand it? Can I give a lecture on it? No. But go to a Shera goddess, or a Shera star goddess, which is SheRaSeven1, but in her other channel where she goes into these types of things, you will understand that your reality is what you have made it, what you have allowed, the frequencies that you've attracted. So I never watched the movie, what is it, the Keanu Reeves, whatever the movie is, where it's like realities and I guess you black box, red box, or whatever. But I do understand in theory what it all means, and your frequencies, your words have power. So what I did, which in the natural looked really stupid, and like, what are you doing? You don't have the money for that. But in the supernatural and in the quantum physics, higher frequencies, telling the universe that I'm not in lack, that I'm in surplus, it literally shifted things for me. So this is going to sound so simple, like, so wait, that's what you did? What I did one day, or within a week, my daughter wanted Japanese food. As you know, that's not necessarily like the cheapest thing to get. And I was just like, fine, yeah, let's go ahead and get it. Get whatever you want. We'll get it. And I'm just like, I literally don't have this money. But I'm like, yeah, let's just go ahead and get it. And then I went shopping on Fashion Nova. And like a couple days later, or maybe a couple days before, I don't really remember. And Fashion Nova had this thing that was like quad pay, where it's like, yeah, I just spent $125, which is not a lot of money, okay? But it was a lot of money to me. I think I spent like $125, $150, but it broke up the payment into 4 installments, like for like a $3 charge, okay? And literally with shopping and doing something that I wasn't allowing myself to do, shopping and treating my daughter to Japanese food, I think it was like once a week almost. And I think I've done 2 or 3 Fashion Nova quad pay things, and even one I might have bought outright. Took myself out of a lack and put myself into a surplus. I'm getting packages, I'm buying things, I'm wearing something new. And that's telling the universe that, yes, I'm in a surplus, and not like, I don't have. Just saying that, for example, universe. Because I definitely have. I'm in surplus. I have abundance, and that is happening. And so because I position myself into that, and my mind isn't knee-jerk reacting in lack. It's like, okay, cool, let's do it. Yeah, I'll figure it out. It'll come to me. I'll get it. It'll happen. It does. And like I said, I'm not sitting here like, and guys, I have $10,000 in my account now. Like, yas. No. But what is in my account is whatever I need. So it don't matter if it's sitting there, like, okay, we're just waiting for you. Whenever I need it, 9 out of 10, it's been there for me to use. Or it's come. So what I would say is that for sure you have to change how you say things out loud, what you say out loud, the energy behind those statements, because you can't just be like, okay, I'm in surplus, bring it to me. You have to act as if, and really act and really feel it. And I've learned this through LEEORA Alexandra, through Infinite Waters, through Aaron Doughty. When you have to fully believe it, smell it, for it to truly also manifest too. And again, I'm still learning these things, so I don't know it all together 100%, but what I am learning, I know has made a real shift for me. And so if you understand that Earth, your life, is a school, it's a test, you are playing a role, your mother and father are playing a role, everybody around you is a role, then you can take things a little less seriously and do things a little bit more risky. Or you can be like, well, this is my role, so I am going to act as if, because I'm going to now change my character to be this person in this cinematic feature. Okay, so when you can get your mindset to understand those things, things will change for you. And all I can tell you is that they will. Because I'm sitting here on a year ago, this time last year, I was working on New Year's Day. Today is New Year's, right? Yeah, okay. I was working on New Year's Day and got home just in enough time to spend a couple hours with my kids and us celebrate New Year's. But literally was cleaning this time last year, a big ass beach house, like it was actually cold last year. And just was like, well, I'll just get home in time enough to just, do food and, celebrate. And we had a great time, when I got home. Today, this time this year, I got to wake up. And now let me explain to you. Like, I totally hustled down for yesterday. Like, I tripled clients so that I could have today off and have tomorrow off. Okay, but that's by choice. Nobody's like, hey, you're on schedule to be here working at Topgolf, and then you have to go. Like, I guess for Lyft, that was by choice too, and obviously for clientele, but it wasn't really by choice. Like, I was working in Sandbridge because I had to. Like, I literally, even though I was self-employed, like, I couldn't reject the job. I had to work. I needed the money. So this year, I assimilated my schedule to hustle yesterday, for 10 hours, I think, so that I could have today off and tomorrow off. It's my choice if I want to work tomorrow, is basically what I'm saying. Like, I'm not like, oh my God, I have to. And even though there's like a little snafu, like in some invoices that, missed the mark in getting to me to like, by the time rent's due, I already know that it's going to be there. I'm going to have it. It will happen. Or things will work out for me where the people will understand, yeah, she's good. She's self-employed. This does happen sometimes where a contractor's check is like a day or two behind. And the universe is going to work it out for me. It could even be so much so that if I was to be given a fee for that, the universe is going to work it out for me. We're like, okay, well, here's the money for it. We got you. You're good. Who cares? So, don't be in lack. Be in a manifest mode. Be in an abundance mode. Every day you're thanking the universe for, and how I do this for me, I say, dear Lord Jesus, angels, ancestors, spirit guides, universe, thank you for the abundance. Thank you for always having this, what I need is always available. Money, food, clothes, connections, experiences is exactly what I need for that day for my overall spiritual growth and human earth experience. So yeah. I guess what I want to end with is that because in having trauma, experiencing trauma from all the way from childhood to now, my parents' trauma that was passed on to me for me to decode and figure out because they either didn't have the resources, which is pretty much the most of it. They didn't have the resources to understand that they were traumatized and were passing on trauma and non-well or not the best life patterns for me to have and establish. So now I've had to like rewire myself, which is also meant for me as a parent to explain to my children that I have wired them incorrectly. They have watched me do things incorrectly, and to explain to them what those were, and now I'm helping to rewire them. They're older, so I can only explain to them, hey, this is what I've learned to help myself so that I don't make these same things or choices anymore, because they're not 5 and 6 and 7 and 9 years old little kids, that all I can do is be like, this has the answers on it. Now they could be like, let me study this, or they could be like, okay, next. That's on them. I can just try to reiterate it and explain it and remind, like, hey, you might want to, really like look at that. Like SheRaSeven, like for my eldest daughter and for both of them, I'd have to be like, guys, you really need to listen to her, but she was super annoying to them. I mean, like I said, she was super annoying to me. But with my gentle reminders, I mean, I even think like one time me and my daughter went to go get like a pedicure, and I knew she was like possibly not really taking SheRaSeven1 seriously and literally wasn't going to be listening to her, but I know romantically the choices that my eldest daughter has made and how it has not served her. And I just didn't want to see this happen for her into her 30s. And so I just literally remember just like starting to get teary-eyed. We were like at the nail drying station, and I was like, I really know that, I know she's annoying, and I know you don't like listening to her, and I didn't either, but I taught you wrong. Like, I really have taught you wrong. It's in your code, and you're gonna do this wrong if you don't let her like fix it. And I remember getting like teary-eyed because I knew that a lot of her heartbreak and relationship fails were because she subconsciously saw me doing these things, or I lectured her in, well, you need to be a good girl, and you need to do this, and you need to do this, and oh, he's a good man, and blah, 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 blah. Just worship the guy, basically. You're last, okay? Or worship your children. You're last. Because that's another thing, is, your children are going to literally grow up and move away most of the times. Things will probably change because I feel like, children nowadays will probably, even though a lot of people probably like, no, kids are so selfish. Like, they're just all about themselves. They're always taking selfies. You don't understand, like, a lot of the children that do those things, they had to have that because they literally didn't have that in their childhood. So they're just kind of making up for lost times. These children that you call selfish and so narcissist or whatever, they're not that at all. They just lacked that in their childhood, and they're just making up for it in their teens or young adulthood, or maybe like at 40, because they didn't get to do that when most other kids got to do that. Everything balances out ultimately. So what you are like looking at somebody's photograph and being like, look how selfish they are, look how stuck up they are, or look how they're always taking pictures of themselves. You have to understand that's because they had such a lack at some point in their life, so they're just literally balancing themselves out. And so everybody's journey is their journey, and there's no way that you can sit there and just like judge somebody because they're taking selfies. I mean, you can if you choose to, but you have to understand that it's so dumb for you to do that. It's a waste of your energy, it lowers your frequency, and you get into such low vibrational thought processes and behavior patterns. And so you are the one that suffers from that, not them. But what, from having heartbreaks, we can go back from childhood to in the last year, okay? What you have to understand, for anybody that's going through heartbreak right now and you're just suffering and you're just like, I cannot believe this is happening again, and you're in such a place of pain and just turmoil, like you can't imagine anything feeling worse than what it is now. I've literally been there. I've actually literally been there on New Year's Eve before too. I think it was New Year's Eve of 2000 and what would have been turning into 18, I believe. I remember crying my eyes out in front of both my daughters, just like, I don't even want to be here. Like, there's so much pain and disappointment. I could not see anything being or feeling better. And I literally did not want to be here. Like, literally had a bridge picked out. So all I can tell you is that, which it may not click right now, because I don't know that it would have clicked for me necessarily, which I don't want to compare myself to you, because you might have a way for this to click for you. So whether or not it makes sense and it resonates with you right now, just understand that everything is temporary, even obviously the good times. So bad times also have to be temporary. You have to understand that there's polarity. So you could be like living it up, having a great time. Understand that there's going to be polarity to that, which is not having a great time. And not having a great time's polarity is having a great time. Nothing is constant as far as like what is happening, but the only thing that is constant is you. So if you understand that it's polarity, if you understand there's extremes, if you understand that, all right, well, I'm having a bad day, but I know there's a good day, or I'm having a bad week, I know there's going to be a good week, or I'm having a bad season, well, there's going to be a good season. Oh, I'm having a good season, well, there's also going to be some not good seasons, so just understand, it's just all fluid. So don't marry and assimilate with that egotistically. Just allow yourself to be fluid. And that is the key to survival, because then you can take things with a grain of salt and you be like, all right, well, what can I learn from this? What is this teaching me? Alchemy. Alchemy is huge, huge for me this year. I guess I didn't write that down, but it's huge for me this year in definition. But when I look back at my childhood and everything, I've been an alchemist since I was probably born. But definitely even as a childhood, you know, taking the little bits that I had and making the best of them. Taking a card table, you know, because we didn't really have a lot when we were growing up, and making it like my office and really playing pretend and really using my imagination. You know, taking a cardboard box and, you know, making it like a little baby bed for my baby doll. Taking album covers, like, I'm dating myself, but like albums used to open, and I never had a Barbie dream house, always wanted one, but never got one. And I created with like my records different cool little rooms, and you couldn't tell me I was living my best life with Barbies, having a whole saga with their little cool houses, and I would take washcloths and make their beds and, you know, all these cool things, because I just was like, I didn't allow myself to be like, well, my best 2 day houses down, they had the whole thing, everything. The kid across the street, when we moved, had the whole Barbie dream house, the camper, the blah, blah, blah. I had nothing. I had none of those. I had Barbies. Um, but I would just be like, well, I'm going to make my own dream house. I'm going to make my own beds. I'm going to make my own baby doll beds. I'm going to do all these things. And I did. And that's alchemy. It's taking what you have and making the best of it, even if it's in your mind only. And anybody else might be looking at you like, that's not a Barbie house. That's records. But they have a Barbie house. So that position to them is a downgrade, okay? But for me, well, here's how it's an upgrade, honestly. Their Barbie house was built. There was no switching anything. The kitchen was the kitchen, the bathroom was the bathroom, the bedroom was the bedroom. That's it. My house is changed however I wanted it to. If I wanted to put the bedroom here and the little kitchen here, I could change it like that. Like that. So mine was more fluid. And so for me, as an adult, I can still see where mine, while you don't want to honor it as something, it was not only something, but it was whatever I wanted it to be, which makes it better. I wasn't married to a mold. I was the mold. So, being an alchemist is how you can ultimately survive your hardest challenges in life. Look for the lesson and allow yourself to understand it has a purpose. It's not to hurt you. The universe is not going to do anything to hurt you. Even when you're hurting yourself by making these choices, it's ultimately happening so that one day there's going to be a light that goes off and you're going to be like, oh. Or, polarity, a light's going to go off and be like, what is that? Oh, I'm not going to listen to her. Let me change her right now. But allowing yourself to listen. So Aaron just loaded my top 3 life-changing spiritual epiphanies. I think a lot of us are probably having like a recap of this year, what we've learned. Because I feel and I know that so many people that I know and or watch, we're all experiencing similar things. And they say it's like your soul tribe. So you're going to be drawn to the people that you're supposed to be drawn to. But let me end it with this. Your heartbreaks are allowed for self-discovery. When your heart breaks into tiny, tiny pieces, okay, even shards, all right, know that each piece is a word. When you gather your words, that is your story. So even right now, I'm gathering my words. I think my stuff was smearing. I'm gathering my words. And one person at least is going to hear this and it's going to shift their thinking. And so through my words, which were at once tears, freaking eyes puffed up to like the moon because I cried so hard where I couldn't even open my eyes, you guys, like literally. You know, I cried so hard where it looked like I gave myself freaking pink eye because that's how distressed my eyes were from crying. Okay? But now I have words that I'm sharing with you so that you can be a part of this frequency and shift. Because when you shift, like I said, when you go from 100.3 to 100.4 and you tune in to 100.5 and now you're hearing the song. Now you understand the words clearly. Now you feel the frequency in the sound. you're in a whole other place. So take that and just apply it to where it makes sense into your life. Okay? So, Happy New Year. Time is, what do you call it? It's not real, but at the same time, it's something that we have said as a truth here, so it's real to us. Years, days, there's no such thing. Just the sun comes up, the sun comes down. Okay? But you are the author of your reality. So act as if. 2020 vision, you guys.